What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 171. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before we get the show started. We had off last week. Nick, you were in you were in Vietnam celebrating your 1 year anniversary. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's super exciting. And if you guys can, whether you guys are new, this first time listening to the show, or you've been listening for a while, go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a nice review or a horrible review. Well, it all helps. If it's going to make the show better. If you're just being a jerk because we're we got some bad thing to say about PlayStation here in a little bit. It is what it is. But yeah, that would be much appreciated. And if you want to watch us live and interact with us, twitch.tv/gaming with the Bros Cast is how you can do that. So, Nick, before we jump into Zelda, because we will be talking all things Zelda today, we are going to be focusing on more of the middle game. So last time we recorded, it was kind of the early stuff. We didn't really spoil much. We're going to be spoiling some stuff today, whether it's, temples or certain quests or something like that. And when we get to that moment of spoilers, we'll say it before we do so. And I'll have everything in the show notes, of course, and the chapters marks. So, we won't try to ruin it for you guys. But if you guys haven't played a ton of Zelda, then maybe hold off and listen, in a few weeks when you get the chance. But Nick, how was your time in Vietnam? Because we haven't talked since you left.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. It was really amazing. We went to three different cities in Vietnam. Like one city, Ho Chi Minh City, South Vietnam. We were there for probably 4 days total, and then we were in kind of another city. Smaller city, kind of like a beach town called Phan Thiet. We were there for 2 days, and that's where Alicia's grandma lives. So I got to meet her for the first time, which is really, really special. And I got to see where she lived and get to see that city and all about that. And then we went up north to the capital, Hanoi, and we were there for about 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
So we had to fly there. That was like a 3-hour or 2-hour flight to get there. But yeah, very beautiful country. The food was amazing.
Yeah, I saw all the pictures and stuff from whether it was from the group chat or stuff Mom sent me or showed me. It looked amazing.
Yeah, I didn't have anything there that I didn't like, and a lot of the times we were just kind of walking around and finding like something random on the street.
Yeah.
And then, someone would just cook right there and have these like plastic chairs that they put out, and you just sit right around them and hang out. And
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. You got to like explore the whole country and didn't have to just stay in one spot for the whole trip. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really nice, like being there with my family-in-law, because they know a lot about Vietnam. Yeah. So they could kind of they were like our tour guide, so to speak. And me specifically, but took me around to all the best places, and just showed me around a lot, and that was really, really nice. Sorry if I'm like speaking a little slowly. I'm just jet lagged.
Yeah. If you guys tune in live, you could see the bags underneath the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the way there wasn't bad, because we timed it where we kind of like stayed up on the flights, and then we got there at midnight, so we just slept right when we got there, and then we were fine the next day. Yeah,
and you're also excited too, going to a different country, and then the flight back is always horrible.
Yeah, and then the way back we left there, like we left midnight Vietnam time, so we had stayed up all day.
Yeah.
And then it took us 30 something hours to get home, and got home at 5 o'clock yesterday, and I could barely hold my eyes open hitting 8 p.m. last night. I was falling asleep sitting up on the couch, and I was like, okay, I'll play some Zelda to keep myself awake. And I ended up fallen asleep playing that as well.
Probably not the best game to play while you're super tired because most of that game you're just exploring and not a lot of actions going on unless you choose to engage. But yeah, most of the time you're just exploring. So
Yeah, I turned it off after I was like paragliding towards one of like the geoglyphs,
yeah.
and I would like exit. I shut the paraglider to jump down a little bit further, and I fell asleep while I was free falling in the air, and I hit the ground and died.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So
Sweet. Well, I'm
fun
glad
times.
glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was really great. Yeah, can't wait to go back maybe in a few years. But yeah, I did like try to play a lot of Zelda on the flights, but
Yeah.
I don't know, like after a certain period in a 13, 14-hour flight, I'm like, I really don't want to play anything
Yeah.
anymore. Like it just kind of becomes a little not mundane, but just like you just kind of get tired of it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
because
know what you mean.
I went in thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna play Zelda
The entire
the
time.
entire flight. Like I'm not gonna get tired of it or anything. But yeah, on the way back, I maybe played 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
total.
Well,
But the rest of the time, I was
it's
just
hard because I mean you're
watching
sitting
movies.
there staring at a little tiny screen.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, it can get a little. I don't know what the word is, but I don't know.
just a little samey,
Yeah, a little
I
samey.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get like hot too while you're playing, and
Yeah.
it's not totally comfortable. And I was tired of playing handheld by the end of it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm ready to play on the TV
Right,
again.
let's see if you just lay back on the couch and play.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
Awesome.
but yeah, amazing trip. Not excited to get back to work tomorrow, but
Yeah.
definitely glad that we had the day off today because
Yeah, that super
I
helped.
don't know what I would have done otherwise.
Would have had to skip work.
Yeah, probably.
Cool. Well, before we
Yeah.
dive into Zelda, my week was pretty good. We had, of course, a Memorial Day weekend, so nice long weekend is always good. We cooked out on Saturday. We did like ribs and stuff, and then it's just been kind of rainy pretty much the whole weekend, which is
Yeah, kind of
kind of always a bummer for Memorial Day since all the pools and stuff open. But hey, I got to play a ton of Zelda over the weekend, so that was awesome. And then we got to Kellen's for the night of my parents last night, and I went and got a pedicure for the first time today.
Oh,
It was
how was it?
one of the greatest things I've ever experienced. It was awesome. Yeah, because the girls were already going to go, and I was like, you know what, I've been talking about going for like a month or so now. Let's just do it. So I went, and yeah,
They're pretty great. I actually got one last week as well.
Yeah.
And oh man, your toes feel so good.
Yeah, just got my nails trimmed, and I don't know. Yeah, just got them cleaned up, stuff like that. Got a nice little like foot and calf massage. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Sat in a massage chair. It was great.
I don't love the calf massage part of it.
Really?
Yeah, like okay, so maybe they just didn't use enough oil when they did it
Yeah.
on me last week, but like by the end of it, like they were just like it felt like they were like scraping my leg hairs.
Oh yeah. See, they used plenty of like oils and stuff like that, so it just felt like a massage. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, let's dive in. Let's dive into Zelda. So Nick and I have both finished the wind, the fire, and the water temple. We still have I don't know what the other one's called.
Is it the lightning temple or the
lightning?
Gerudo temple?
It's whatever it's going on in the Gerudo region. So I'm assuming probably lightning because that's what that's what Uraboso had. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But
yes.
So we haven't done that one. So it's pretty funny that we both decided to wait for Gerudo last. But I've been to that region, and I've been to the Gerudo town, like the main village or whatever. It does seem like it is a little bit harder. like I think the enemies are a little bit more challenging, and plus you've got some environmental hazards to deal with. But
Mhm.
yeah, let's just start. Like, how did you? So when you're playing that, when you, because I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I've done the map completely now. I've
Yeah.
gotten all the Skyview towers. How did you do your adventure across Hyrule?
Probably as like sporadically as you could possibly think.
Really?
Yeah, I I did the water temple first. I went to Zora's Domain
Oh
first,
wow.
which
Okay.
is synonymous with what I did with Breath of the Wild. I just decided to take up the same route.
Okay.
And then I think I traveled south from there. I went to like the Necluda region,
Okay. Yeah.
went across Hyrule to uh to the Rito village
Okay.
and did that area. And then I bounced around a lot between the sky, the depths, and the main service.
Yeah.
But basically, I went back across Hyrule uh to like the Elden Mountain,
Yeah.
the Death Mountain area, and did the Fire Temple from there.
Okay.
But in between all that, I've just been bouncing around, just going to places that I remembered from Breath of the Wild or that look, that look interesting. Like I've done one of the labyrinth quests,
Yeah.
like the one with the sky and the land and depths labyrinths, and um, yeah, just kind of been bouncing around. Like
Cool.
really no rhyme or reason to anywhere that I went
Hey,
aside from
that's
when I was
fine.
like, okay, I'm really gonna go towards this temple now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been
Well,
pretty much, so I started obviously, in Hyrule, the lookout landing, whatever, and then I went straight to the Rito region. 'Cause that's really, I think that's where it tells you to go first.
yeah, it pushes you in that direction.
It pushes you in that direction. So I went up that way, um, and I kind of went up that way. Went to like to the Rito village. Didn't start that main quest yet, and I
Mhm.
really just kind of went up around Hyrule. Went to the Elden region. Like went to Goron City. Um, didn't initiate
Yeah.
really any of the quests there, and then kind of just went down like south, like southeast. Um, yeah, went to like the Necluda region, found like Kakarika Village, and then kind of went like towards like the middle of Hyrule, like, and then I kind of went to
Mhm.
that's when you said something about the Great Plateau, so I went there, and then I just kind of filled in the remaining spots that I hadn't already gotten to. It ended in like the Gerudo Valley, and that was the last lookout tower I needed. But yeah, it
Nice.
was really just a big circle around Hyrule, and it felt just really cool
So
doing that.
you didn't really fast travel that much, did you?
Not
You just
not
kind of
re-
went on your
yeah,
way.
not really, because I mean, just recently I started taking like the Zonai charges and getting the upgraded battery pack. So I didn't really go
Yeah.
back to Lookout Landing much, other than to upgrade like my health and stamina and stuff. Because I did that pretty quickly. I
Mhm.
upgraded a couple hearts, and then I did my full, like I did a full wheel of the stamina wheel, just because like that's so important. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just been. I mean, yeah. Before we dive into the temples and
Mhm.
how we thought about what we played so far, how are you enjoying the game overall compared to, um, I don't know, compared to other games, compared to Breath of the Wild? I mean, what's your
Yeah.
experience like so far?
I think I'm liking it more than Breath of the Wild, and it's really hard to say because like a lot of all the locations are familiar, and
Yeah,
I guess you could say it feels like treading familiar ground,
right.
but at the same time, there's so much new to discover between the Sky Islands and the depths that it really doesn't feel like I'm doing the same thing again.
Yeah,
And even with the familiar locations, they've changed so much that it's really exciting to go back to a location that I've previously explored in Breath of the Wild
yeah,
because like the question is like, oh my gosh, what's changed? Like with the Great Plateau, it's like that was such an iconic location in Breath of the Wild. Like, how did that evolve
yeah,
in Tears of the Kingdom? And a big change to that one is the depths portion, and like that part is so built out
Yeah.
And the quest there is really cool of like
Yep.
trying to get those like those pieces back to I don't know, back to that guy.
Back the statue.
Yeah, back to the statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that quest is really cool. So I'm really enjoying just the exploring aspect of it. Like,
Cool.
even if there weren't any dungeons or any significant main story quests, like this game would still be amazing
Yeah.
because it's one of those like just like Breath of the Wild. It's one of those see that thing, go there,
Yeah.
get and then get sidetracked by 100 different things along the way.
Yeah.
100 different Korok quests or random signpost quests like and then all the side adventures in the towns too, like I don't know if you did the electoral quests in
I've got a couple of those initiated, and it gave me really heavy like either even Majora's Mask vibes, like when you have to trail the girl, and granted she doesn't go very far, like you don't really have to do much, you just kind of watch her, but yeah, when you trail her, like that gave me kind of Majora's Mask vibes, but yeah, I mean it's knowing that there's 1,000 Korok seeds in this game. I just have not done much Korok stuff. I mean, I've got like if I see them, I'll do them. But even like the one that's always, he's got that heavy backpack on. I just avoid him, and I just avoid him at this point.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes they'll have stuff that you need that you can build to get him over, and then sometimes they don't, and you have to use your own stuff, and it's just I don't know. I haven't really touched the Korok stuff. I've upgraded my inventory a little bit. I think I have like 50 or 60 Korok seeds at this point, so I've been doing them, but I'm definitely not going to be trying to do every single one of those. That's just crazy. And the thing is the same. I think it's the same trophy. So it's like, really, you all did it again to us?
Yeah, I wonder if there's like an additional layer of poo for the trophy or anything this time around. But yeah, that is weird that it's the same trophy. And I get it because like you need the Korok seeds because you need something to help you expand your inventory.
Yeah,
like, you need that progression. So I understand why it's there, just like why shrines are back, because that's how you progress your stamina and health. But yeah, you've got to be mad to.
I was just like, and there's 100 more. Like, come on, man! Like,
I guess it makes it easier that you get 2 for those.
Yeah.
Delivery quests or whatever, but I don't know. I find this fun because like it allows me to experiment a little bit.
Yeah, that is true.
And just send the Koroks in various directions. Like some of them are quite difficult. Like I remember one in the snowy region, the Hero Mountains, where like you had to get him like way up, like way up, and it didn't really give you any materials to do so. So I just had to like fire him on a rocket and hope for the best.
Yeah,
some of them are pretty fun and pretty funny to do. But I'm not doing every one that I come across.
Yeah.
Are you helping the sign guy?
I am, dude. I love those.
Yeah, those are so fun.
It's like sometimes you sit there and build something and you're like super confident and you're like, all right, this is gonna work, and then it just falls to the left or something, and he's like, oh my god, like
what are you doing?
It's like, oh, it's always funny, Mr. President.
Mr. President, no.
But yeah, those are cool. I don't know what the grand prize is after you do all those, but yeah, I've been doing them all as I come across them. And he's just like in some random spots too. Just
I know.
Like one, he was
really?
like up in
here.
He's like up in the Heber Mountains, like freezing. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're just standing here.
I think there's like 80 of them.
Oh really? Okay.
There's a lot.
Yeah, dude. This game it's jam packed, man. And the fact that I don't know if you saw the headline, but the game was done last year, and they delayed it just so they could polish it. Like that's like no other. No other game development company like does that. Like they'll definitely polish, but for a game to be done like
a year
and you're just polishing up, and I mean I'm 70 hours in, and yeah, there's a lot of like hiccups and
like some frame rate issues
for sure, especially when you go into like oddly enough, but when you go into the stables, I get a lot of frame rate issues. But other than that, I mean, I haven't had any sort of like glitches
No
or
bugs.
no like I've had some funny like uh oh gosh um what I'm trying to think of the
Ultra hand?
yeah, some funny stuff with Ultra Hand and like whenever you create vehicles and stuff, like you'll have some weird stuff going on with that, especially when they get shot up into the air.
Some
Um,
jank.
but I don't even know if that's just jank or maybe just something was too heavy on one side. And I just didn't realize. Like, who knows? But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, there was one shrine quest that I did, and I was getting a little frustrated because I can't remember where it was at, but it's one and it's got these two like targets that are like on to kind of on top of each other, like one's on a lower level and one's on a higher level, and you've got
Yeah.
this plank that's hanging off the side, and you have to take a ball, put it on the one side, and then take one of the cubes and drop it on there, and it catapults the ball. And I was able to get the first one, and then I got it to hit the second one like two or three times, and it never registered that it hit. And then finally, randomly, it did, and I was like, okay. So I
That's
don't know if
weird.
I just wasn't. I don't know. I don't know if I just wasn't putting it like dropping on the plank at the right angle, and I have no idea. But I finally got to go.
Mm.
But other than that, that's really the only one that really caused me some issues. Like I don't know. The shrines are pretty much there to like as like the tutorial for just all the crazy nonsense that you can do um
Yeah, definitely.
in the
Uh,
world. And then yeah, there's been some really cool shrines.
yeah, there's probably one for each Zonai device, kind of like tutorializing those a little bit, and
Yeah,
then there's just a lot of random physics based shrines. Like there's
yeah,
like a Django one, and then
yeah. I did that one.
there's a couple ones where like you're building vehicles and you're kind of like doing obstacles and that kind of stuff. And of course you have like your combat shrines where it
Hmm.
strips you of all your weapons and
Yeah,
forces you to
those are
take
like the
one round.
least interesting ones I've found. There's been a couple of cool ones where
Hmm.
you're there. It's like there was one where it was like three kind of rivers that were going around, and you have to get onto like the
Oh
boat
yeah.
and kind of go around. Like that one was at least interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love the fact that all the shrines are connected to shrines into the depths, like the light root trees or whatever
Hmm.
that you can
Yeah, that's
find.
super cool.
And then there's some because I'll find a like a light root tree in the depths, and I'll pull up my map and go to the surface. And if I don't see a shrine there, I'll mark it, and that way I can go find a shrine later on. Because some shrines
Smart.
on the surface aren't activated, and you have to do some sort of puzzle or something like that. Like I found one, like the ones in the sky where they've got like the green like
The green
gem or whatever you have to
yeah, the
get
gym.
to the shrine in order for it to activate. I found one of those on the surface, which was pretty
Hmm.
interesting. Um, so yeah, there's just dude, there's so much to do in this game. It is crazy.
Yeah, and like even outside of shrines and that kind of stuff, like there's like kind of big sweeping quests called side adventures where
Yeah, I love it.
you have your your great fairies
Yep,
and
I
the
just did that
stable
one
bands.
yesterday. I finished up that one.
Nice. Yeah, you can unlock the four great fairy fountains and upgrade your armor,
Yep,
even more.
that's so. Once I got the upgraded, like I think I got a couple of sets to like the full power,
Mhm.
and like you just eat enemies hits. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how much it impacts your ability in the combat. Like it, you can really sponge some hits
Yeah.
even from Lionels and the more powerful enemies like the Gleox, which I killed my first Gleox
You
today.
you did okay. I was gonna ask. I
Yeah,
finally killed a Lionel on Saturday, and it was really
nice.
the first one I've came across a couple, and dude, they're so menacing. Like you walk
Hmm.
by, and like the little question mark comes up, like the black and white
Like
one, and
yeah,
they
just
look
like
at you.
staring at you.
Because I was doing something. I think I was doing like a shrine or near a shrine. I was building something, and I turn around and Lionel's staring at me out of nowhere. And then I just like slowly walk behind the tree, and he he's still staring at me, and he eventually walked away. But I was just like, oh my gosh. But I have not. I've attempted to fight a couple of Gleeoks. The fire one that's on the bridge near the Great Plateau, and then the ice one that's over in the Heber Mountains near one of the stables. But I have not beaten any of them yet.
Yeah, I did the one in the Colosseum. It was the lightning one, or the thunder Gleeok. It was pretty tough. I recommend using the Keese eyeballs.
Okay.
Because you want to headshot all three of the heads, and then he'll fall down, and you can
That's
get
cool.
some hits in. So like, he was probably a third health left, and he had flown like way up in the air. But since I had shot Keese eyeballs at him, they locked onto him, and they got
That's
him.
awesome.
And they got all three heads, and he fell down pretty long way, and had some significant fall damage.
Oh wow!
So I was able to like quickly take him out after that. But yeah, it's a super cool fight. I can't wait to go and fight the other ones too, because I know there's like a tri-headed, like a tri-elemental one somewhere.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like somewhere in the Sky Islands.
Do they respawn after, or are they just gone?
I think they do. I think they do respawn.
Okay.
After the Blood Moon.
I guess tip on that if you didn't know, but and for the listeners, if you get a Lionel bow that it can shoot 3 arrows at the same time, it'll shoot 3 different items if you put it on there. So you can shoot 3 different Keese eyeballs, and it'll lock on.
Okay, yeah, because that must have been what I was doing. Yeah, I had the Lionel bow, so that's a great combination. Is the Lionel bow and the Keese eyeballs, and it'll shoot 3, and it only uses up one item, which is really cool. So,
oh, does it? It doesn't use up 3?
No, I think it just uses up 1.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are really cool. I'm really glad they added in Gleeoks.
Yeah, they're super menacing. Yeah,
and there's a couple of other like mini bosses too.
Yeah, there's we'll talk about the one that's at the water temple. I've fought in that one twice now in the depths, the Scourge of the Depths or whatever. The Gleeoks are super cool. The only thing I really have not done is created like the crazy contraptions that I've seen people building, but I don't know, that's just above my IQ level.
My IQ feels pretty low sometimes in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I've made some pretty cool stuff to get places. And I really love the fact that, spoiler, we'll talk about this here in a second, but Master Koga and the Eagle Clan are back, and they're predominantly in the depth. That's where a lot of those missions are. And I love the fact that they are just all on board with the Zonai tech, and you can get all the different the schematics and stuff like that. So I've gotten I found the one where it's got the 3 spring that's embedded with the little like I don't know, the stick thing, whatever, I can't remember what it's called, but where the thing where you can like go into the ground and
the stake?
The stake, yeah. So it's that, and it just launches you in the air like crazy. So
that's cool.
With that, I mean, I know a lot of people are upset that Rivali's Gale isn't in the game, and that was probably like the most useful getting around ability you had. But I mean, there's between the rockets that you have, you just put on a shield, you go up. The springs. I mean, there's a lot of the hot air balloons. I mean, there's so many good options to use to.
Oh yeah, there's a ton
to get around, and yeah, man, I know I'm 70 hours in, but I mean, this game it's just one. We said the same thing. We had the same thing about Elden Ring last year. It was like one of those once in a generation kind of games. This is like for sure once in like game of the decade type of game. I mean, I know we're halfway through the year, but I just don't see anything else coming close to this for me, unless Starfield can do it, and I don't know, just because how
I know there's
sophisticated.
There's no way.
There's just all the abilities and mechanics that are in Zelda. I don't think Starfield will do it, and I know I want to play Spider-Man, but it kind of looks more of the same with what we've seen in the the showcase. I know it'll be different than
like I mean
the other Spider-Man, but I mean it looked more of the same, which I didn't expect for it to be something completely different. Not all games can be Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and be wildly different than their first part,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Tears of the Kingdom is just it's so special. It really has something for everybody, and like the fact that you can build and customize your own house. Like,
yeah, I haven't gotten to that. I mean, I've been to Terrytown, but I haven't. I don't think I've done the quest with this for Hudson's daughter yet. I don't think I
okay,
finished
yeah,
that.
that's
So
a kind of fun, endearing quest.
yeah,
That's really cool.
but yeah, I mean, there's like you don't have to touch any of the mechanic stuff for the most part if you don't want to. I mean, it's there and it makes traversing stuff easier. But as far as combat goes, like you don't need it at all. Um,
No,
so I mean, I've
like in terms of like the ultra hand stuff.
yeah,
Building,
in terms of just like building itself,
yeah,
you don't necessarily need it because I have built a couple of like, especially when you get like the homing cart whatever that's on wheels,
yes,
and you put like the flame emitter or something on there. It's super cool. You just send like three of them at like a an enemy or something like that. Super awesome. But for the most part, I think you definitely have to use fuse. I think
you have to,
like fuse
really
is in order to get this weapon strong enough to do damage, you've got to use fuse. And if you've got amiibo, use your amiibo because you get some pretty decent weapons out of that you can then fuse.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick, let's switch over, and then do you want to jump into some temples?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, do you want to start with so you started with the water temple first, right?
Yeah, that was the first one I did.
Okay.
We can start with wind.
I mean, we can start with water. I think that was a good one to start with.
Okay.
So this is your old best friend Sidon, which he's such a cool character.
What a Chad.
So yeah, I mean you get up to you get up to the Zora domain and it's completely covered in goopiness.
Yeah, it's black goop.
Kind of reminded me of like Mario
Mario's
Sunshine with all the goopy and stuff going on. And yeah, you eventually make your way up to you get the Zora's armor again, so you get to use the waterfall mechanic, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And then you get up to the water temple, and the just getting up to the water temple was super fun. Like when you have to use the bubbles and stuff, they introduced like the bubble mechanic and like the low gravity for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, that was
in the game, which is
super
awesome.
Yeah, my jaw was on the floor when I got there, and I was like, "What? It's low gravity because it's so high up." That's
awesome. I wish that they would have introduced like gravity boots or something. I know this is not this type of game, but like that would have been so cool to have, because once I got that, and then I finished it and went back to the surface, I was like, no, I need this gravity back.
I know it was so cool for combat and for traversal. Like, yeah, that area, even just getting up to the water temple was like a good 30 minutes of traversal and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the balls of water were really cool as well.
Yeah,
so that was super fun just getting there.
Yeah, I'd almost just combine that with the water temple itself, because once you actually get up to the water temple, it's pretty basic. Like you get up on the platform,
five things,
and then like even just getting to there's 4 or 5 different spots you have to go to, and all the temples are really the same thing. They're not super. If you're looking for like a typical dungeon or temple from like Ocarina of Time or something, it's definitely not that. But I think it's better than the beasts in Breath of the Wild.
No, definitely better than the beasts, even just thematically.
Yeah,
like, the divine beasts were all the same. They were all the Sheikah technology. These at least look way different. So that's already off on a better note.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of like how they would do a traditional dungeon in a game like Breath of the Wild, and like
you can't, because you have the ascend ability.
You have ascend. You can climb. Like that's a problem already if you're trying to stop someone's progress, like in a normal dungeon, and lock it behind certain items. Like
you just have to make the ceilings really high or something. I don't really know the answer to that.
you're too free as a player to be, like contained within a
Yeah.
dungeon, like a
And
traditional
I don't
Zelda
think you
dungeon.
would. I don't think I would necessarily want that like in this game because, like you said, you are
No.
so free to tackle anything like really how you want to. Which I want to talk to you about. We'll get to the Fire Temple, but I had some
Mhm.
questions for you about that one. Um, but yeah, I don't think being confined in a relatively tighter space. You do have the caves and stuff in the game, which are
Yeah,
really cool. But again, you can leave out of those caves anytime you want with Ascend. So yeah, I don't know how they would do a traditional one like you said, but yeah, the ones that they provided are good. I think they're really good, way better than the beasts, and yeah, I think they think they serve their purpose.
yeah, and I think the bosses are even better too.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
The
there's
fact that they're actually different.
exactly yeah, they're all the same, like the Blight Ganon or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, once you do the water temple stuff, you fight the I can't remember his name, but he's like a Splatoon boss. He's like an
pretty much.
Octo Rock or whatever, and he has like a shark form that he takes. And you get to
Hmm.
use Sidon's ability where I guess it's a shield, right? It's a one hit shield,
Yep. But you can
and
also
then if
shoot
you
it out.
if you don't break it, you can shoot out water, which is what you have to do, and then you eventually kill him, and then you get Sidon as like a ghost
Um,
like companion or spirit companion.
yeah,
You get to have him, and you get to use that ability, which is cool.
yeah,
And
and then he
honestly,
fights
they
along with you.
actually they fight, and like the AI is actually pretty decent. Like they aggro enemies, and they've killed a lot of enemies for me.
Oh
Whether
yeah,
it's we'll talk about Tulin here in a second, but I mean he one shots enemies all the time.
Tulin goes off,
Yeah,
man.
Tulin's the goat of this game. I haven't gotten to the
Yeah,
Gerudo stuff yet, but Tulin is awesome. Um,
yeah, Tulin's amazing.
but yeah, I think the Water Temple. I mean, it's probably my least. Well, I don't know. I think
I,
I might have liked it better than the Wind Temple. I thought
yeah,
the
the
Wind
Wind
Temple
Temple.
aesthetically was really cool, but
I feel like the five. I I guess I'll call them puzzle. I think the five puzzles in the Wind Temple weren't as engaging as the ones in the Water Temple.
yeah, it's just more of like how do I get to this spot to activate it?
Yeah, rather than like what do I do here?
Yeah, yeah. They
Just the
weren't
Wind
actually
Temple.
puzzles really. It was just like you just had to make your way there, and then the ones on the Water Temple actually felt more like a puzzle.
Yeah,
Cool. But yeah, I mean, I like the Water Temple. That was really cool. That whole area with Sidon and the Zors and stuff.
yeah. I love Zora's Domain. I think it's a really cool area. I mean, obviously it rains a lot, so it's hard to traverse there. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, Zora's Domain is super cool. Did you do the quest where you go underneath Zora's Domain and get? I think you get like a piece of armor if you go underneath one of the waterfalls.
I don't think I've done that. I'll have to.
Yeah, you
I've
get.
kind of I've gotten a lot of side quests and stuff like that, but I haven't done a lot. Just trying to savor them as much as possible.
Yeah.
Um, which on a side note, have you been underneath Hyrule's castle into that chasm?
Yes.
I I
I
I did too.
I I got to what I think
Is the end
is
game?
is the end game.
I hit the cutscene and I stopped and I reloaded my previous save and then left because I didn't want to see the cutscene.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I like started that big battle
Yeah.
and died
Oh, you
because I
died.
was
Okay.
not prepared at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is where it all happens. But yeah, getting there
I
was
didn't
pretty
realize
cool.
you could go there immediately. I thought for some reason I thought it was up in the castle, which I did go up into the castle too and got the armor there.
Mhm.
The what is it? The tunic from Breath of the Wild.
The Champions Tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Got that.
And there's some pretty good weapons up there too.
Yeah.
Just like laying around.
Yeah. So I did that, but yeah, let's you want to talk about the Wind Temple?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Wintable. You have. Oh man, everyone's favorite boy Tulin.
Yeah, Tulin's so cool, man. He's like,
Yeah.
he's so cool.
He's,
But yeah,
he's a sweet little boy, and his ability is really cool too. Of giving you like the speed boost when you're flying, which is kind of like the uh
Raleigh scale, just
Yeah,
horizontal.
scale. Yeah, which I feel like is better in this game because you're traversing more higher up.
Yeah,
So like you need that extra
that
boost.
ability has come in clutch so many times for me.
Oh yeah,
That's definitely my most used ability in the game so far. But yeah,
sure.
I mean, just again, kind of like the water temple, getting up to the wind temple was awesome. Like going up, and this was like really, I want to say this was like really the first time. No, it's not the first time I've been up to the Sky Island since the plateau. Um,
Oh.
but it was one of the first times where like I've gotten significantly high in the air, which was really cool. But yeah, getting up to it again was kind of like part of the temple bouncing off the pirate ships and stuff like that. Like it was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like that portion, and then just you really have to use Tulin's ability.
Oh yeah,
when you're getting up there, like it really does come in clutch. Like just such a cool ability, and I'm excited to see what the Gerudo ability is too. I'm sure it's something lightning related, but
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah. Then you go into the big like hurricane storm. Like you jump over it and go in.
Yeah. Oh, that was so awesome.
That was super badass. And then kind of the same structure as the water temple and as the fire temple too. But you're going to the 5 spots and
unlocking the gate or the seal or whatever it is.
Yeah, unlocking the seal.
But this was probably the best boss fight.
Yeah, this boss fight was cool.
Yeah. So it's like a giant. What is it like a giant? It almost it's like a giant centipede or almost.
Like a giant centipede that's flying through the air.
Yeah, and this one like you don't use your weapons at all. You're diving through its weak points as it's shooting up rocks at you. So probably the most unique boss fight I've seen in a long time in Zelda.
Wait, did you dove through the weak points?
Yeah, you dive through it.
Oh,
I was shooting with
arrows.
Oh yeah, you could totally dive through it. That's crazy that you could do that though. I didn't. I thought Tulin said dive through it or something, but maybe
he probably did. I probably just missed it and like, oh, I'm gonna shoot through it with arrows.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, it's cool that you can do it 2 ways.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Man, I wish I would have dove through it. That sounds way more fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was an awesome like set piece. That whole area was a great set piece. So yeah, I really liked the Wind Temple. I thought the structure of like the ship itself was cool, but it felt a little bit more tedious than the Water Temple did.
Right.
But still a really, and for me it was my first temple, so it was a great start to seeing the temples for the first time in the game. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and the completion of this one had a good payoff because you resolved the storm that was going on, so it made traversal around that area much easier, and it kind of it cleared up Rita Village.
Yeah,
so it made that area a lot prettier.
Yeah,
once the storm cleared up.
Yeah, it made it actually enjoyable to fly around. Where the Water Temple, they had the sludge or whatever, but you could pretty much maneuver around that as you needed to. But let's talk. You want to talk about the Fire Temple next?
Oh yeah, good old Fire Temple. Which, oh my god, so confusing.
Yeah, so this one structurally was completely different. You go to Goron City and you meet what's his name? Yunobo.
Yeah.
So you find him and you kind of get to the point where all these sightings of Zelda, like you're kind of thinking maybe that's not actually Zelda, that it's like a mimic or something.
Someone's impersonating her.
Yeah, impersonating, which, going back to we'll talk about the Dragon Tears quest in a little bit, but going back, you're just like, I don't think this is actually Zelda. And then you actually get up into, you have that really cool boss fight on top of Death Mountain, and you're like flying around in the. That was so awesome.
That one was cool. I did like fall to the ground, and I was trying to use Ultra Hand to move the glider around so I could take off again.
Yeah.
And then I found another one so I could use that one. But I was like, oh my god, like I cannot get this thing in the right spot.
Yeah. Super quick boss fight, and then you get to obviously jump into the depths again, and go to the Fire Temple, which is again,
it's cool that this one's underground.
Yeah, which again structurally completely different than the other two, because this one's like there's 5 levels and it's a rail car system, so you're putting carts on and moving around and stuff like that. I had a hard time on this one. on where to go.
Yeah, yeah. Like I did um, the first few puzzles with no issues because I would just go into a direction and then I'd find one.
Yeah,
And then I was like, how do I get up? Like, how do I get to the third floor and the fourth floor?
I just climbed.
Yeah, I ended up climbing.
Which I didn't. That didn't feel like what the developers wanted me to do. Which I mean, again, it's Tears of the Kingdom, so you can kind of do whatever you want. But it didn't feel right, I guess. But it works.
I think, yeah, I had a lot of trouble on the last one as well because it was locked behind the gate, so you had to go up to the fifth floor.
Yeah, knock that boulder out and then dive in.
Yeah, which I had done, but I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
how do I get in this door? And
yeah, because there's the one lock that's right there, and then if you take then you have to make the bridge, and which this game is like if you can't do it, long bridge is always the option.
Right. Yeah.
Just to make a long bridge
and recall.
Yeah.
And just make yourself a little gliding platform and move over that way. But yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to get to a few of those floors otherwise. Like aside from climb, I spent a lot of time climbing. Yeah. In that temple.
I climbed to the third or fourth floor, and then there's a part where it's behind one of the buildings. There's like a chest, and it has two of those little grate pieces on top of it, and you have to move it. And I was like, I was like, well, let me get out my hot air balloon and the fire emitter, attach it, and then just float up, and then that's what I did. And it got me to the top floor. This game really makes you feel super smart and super dumb sometimes.
Yeah, kind of at the same time sometimes.
Because you don't think like, I don't know if it's just the Zelda mentality, but you I guess with Zelda you have to use the tool, or you have to use the items that are there, and outside of the shrines you could just use whatever you have. You can use the stuff they provide you or the stuff that it's in your inventory. And sometimes I forget about that, and I'll forget about Ascend too. And I'm like, well, I was like, how do I get up to Ascend? Of course,
Ascend is always the answer. I love Ascend. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite abilities.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
How good it is for traversal, like especially just getting out of caves. I still think that's so cool that you can just ascend out of a cave whenever you want. With it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so after you do that, you fight. Glad to see Goma back.
Yeah. Okay. Goma from Ocarina, right?
Yeah, which I think Goma's been in other series before, like other games, but I can't remember. But Ocarina of Time is like obviously the most iconic one because that's the first boss. But yeah, glad to see.
Yeah, that was really cool to see Goma. That was a really great fight.
Yeah, it was a super fun fight. Just launching him up there and then having her come drop down, and then you just whack at her. But yeah, super cool fight, and you like use the recall ability and stuff like that to launch the stuff back at her. Super cool.
Oh, I didn't even do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I hadn't even used recall.
And anytime people throw stuff at you, just always use recall. Same thing for like the what is it? The flux enemies, the ones that are like the
the flux constructs.
Yeah, because when they fly high up in the air and they launch them at you, just hit recall and you can get back up there. Yeah,
yeah. Those fights are really fun too.
Those are they're super fun.
Those, but
so yeah, I think the Fire Temple. I think it's my second. I think the Water Temple is still my favorite out of the three. Mm-hmm. But the Fire Temple one was really cool, and I liked the boss battles and stuff, and the fact that it was in the depths was super cool too.
Yeah. I really like what they were going for with the Fire Temple. It felt more expansive. I really enjoy like the minecart stuff, and the fact that you can just fuse a minecart to your shield and grind on it that way instead of actually using a minecart. So that was really helpful in this temple.
Yeah, the shield surfing came in. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater came in clutch on this temple.
Heck yeah!
There was one time where, and I'll have to post on TikTok, but there was one of the enemies coming around on the cart, and I just picked the cart up with my ultra hand, turned it upside down so he fell out, and then I just took the cart back to me.
I'll take this, thank you.
Yep, and then I just recalled it, and it went back onto the track, and I got in. But yeah, just so many awesome moments like that in this game. But yeah,
And I think
was
like
cool.
just a side note, like every single ability in this game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Recall, Ultra Hands, Ascend, Fuse. Like these are like the greatest 4 abilities of any game.
For sure.
Like there's something just so special about each one of them that really enhances the gameplay experience.
Yeah, and the fact that like recall is unlimited.
Yeah,
and there's no timer on that, and it can there's I don't think there's like a distance for it, right? That you can just see it. As long as you can see it, you can recall it. For the most part, like it comes. Yeah, that recall is so good.
Yeah, I still forget to use recall sometimes, but whenever I do think of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel
so good.
Genius. Yeah.
So yeah, those are the temples that we have done. We've got to obviously got to do the last one. But I want to put it off because I don't know how much is left story wise for the game outside of those temples. I'm assuming there's probably some more stuff, but the fact that I've seen the cutscene when you get into the depths underneath Hyrule Castle makes me think that this is going to be it. But there's got to be a conversation where everybody comes together or something. I'm not quite sure, but
yeah, because there are a few pieces missing, like a few
videos,
trailers, whatever, missing from my inventory, and I've done all the Dragon's Tears.
Yeah, you want to talk about that since you brought it up?
Okay, so major spoilers.
Yeah, super huge spoilers.
I would honestly recommend not doing this quest or not finishing it until you've completed all the dungeons and you're ready to finish the game, because.
And they did the same thing in Breath of the Wild, but I wish there was a way for them to give you those flashbacks in order, because I mean, I know there's obviously the final flashback you can't do until you completed all of them, but I kind of wish they would give it to you in order, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I wish I wish that, and then I also wish they just locked it off until you finish all the dungeons.
Yeah, that would have been.
It's so significant, and it makes you want to finish the game.
Yeah, it really does. You just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll just dive right into it. Again, it's huge, super spoilers. Like probably the most spoilery thing we can talk about at this moment. But after you learn about the how Zelda got transported in time back to King Rauru and is it Sonya? Is that
Sonya?
Sonya, Queen of Hyrule, and kind of learn the events up until the point, the imprisoning war and how they defeat Ganondorf in the past. Yeah, and it talks about it in one of the videos or one of the flashbacks there. If you eat the tear, the secret stone, you turn into an eternal dragon, and that was kind of foreshadowing for sure. And then,
but yeah, in an attempt to reforge the Master Sword,
because she knew, I guess, because I guess at this point they had already defeated Ganondorf or sealed him away.
Yeah, I think they had already sealed.
But obviously, she knows in her time that he comes back. So, and they need that sword. So yeah, again, in the attempt to revitalize it, she eats it and becomes a dragon.
Becomes a dragon and uses all of that time in between then and now to reforge the Master Sword, because I guess it needed that much time. And that was the dragon you saw at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
And I don't remember seeing that dragon anymore throughout the game.
I didn't either, but
I don't know
maybe
where it typically showed up. I think it's like available for you, because you could jump on there at any point and get the Master Sword.
Really? So you can just get onto it? That's super cool.
I mean, yeah, like if you have enough stamina.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that Zelda turns into a dragon.
Yeah, and you don't know.
It's very sad too.
Yeah, super sad, because I mean, Link. I think it's clear. It's very clear that they are in a relationship in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that sucks for Link, obviously, but yeah, just super. And my thing is, obviously, there's the whole Zelda timeline that doesn't really matter, but I think Breath of the Wild and clearly with Tears of the Kingdom, this is like a redo of that. This is like starting over from scratch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, with it going back, like King Robert's the first king, and then Zelda turns into an eternal dragon. Like, does she get reincarnated at some point? Like they normally
Yeah,
would.
I don't really know how that works.
So I feel like all the games were kind of retcon, and this is like starting the cycle like over from scratch within with their own story. Again, it doesn't really matter because like the timeline doesn't really matter in any of the other games. But I mean, the fact that they were like, hey, this is Skyward Sword. This is the
first game,
the first one. And I'm a little bit sad that there's no Skyloft in the game. At least that we don't know of. I mean, there could be.
Right? Like I thought that's what they were alluding to when they remastered Skyward Sword, and then they showed off the Sky Islands. I was like, okay, there has to be some sort of connection there, and maybe there is.
Maybe there is. Like maybe once you do the four like regional phenomenon things, like maybe something happens, and that would be pretty awesome. But the fact that I haven't seen anything on Twitter about it either, like that,
right,
it's probably not going to happen. But I thought for sure that Skyloft would be involved or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you done all 3 of the mazes yet?
No, I've only done one.
Done one. Okay, cool.
Does something happen when you do all 3?
Well, you just get the Ganondorf set. Because you should have.
There's a Ganondorf set?
So did you go down into the depths after you did the first one?
Yeah,
you did?
Yeah, and I fought.
You fought
there was like a boss down there.
The flux.
Yeah.
Thing. And did you get a item?
I did.
Okay. Yeah. That's part 1 of the Ganondorf set.
I thought it was like a. Wait, do you know what it's called? It's not called the Ganondorf.
It's not. Yeah, it's not called Ganondorf, but it was like the description says it's used by an evil entity, and he looks like the Ganondorf clothes from like Ocarina of Time.
Oh dang! I completely missed that.
Yeah. So you should have it.
Might have been in the legs.
Yeah, it should increase like your sneakiness level.
Sneakiness?
Yeah, sneakiness, like being sneaky.
Sneakiness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it should be in there, but yeah, there's 3 parts of that.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool because like the chess piece has like his cape and stuff too, so it's super badass. Yeah, super awesome.
Oof.
Have you found? Have you been to the Colosseum in the depths?
Yes, I did get. I think I got Midna's
helmet.
Yeah,
that was super cool.
That was a cool fight. I think there's more of those too. Like more of the Colosseum fights.
I figured there probably was. I figured there was a full Midna set. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that was awesome.
I still have a lot to explore in the depths.
I do too. I barely scratched the surface of the depths. There's so much. Yeah. But to another helpful tip, if you're traveling in the depths and you don't have the map unlocked, pull up the surface map, and you can kind of guide yourself because you can see where the shrines are that you've unlocked around the surface, and also if there's like water and stuff, that's going to be a wall that you cannot get around or go above. I mean, you might be able to go around because if it's like a lake or something, but as far as like wall wise goes, you can't climb it. It just goes all the way to the surface.
Okay, that's good to know.
So that helped me out a lot during the Koga quest.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably what I'll do next. Is that Koga quest?
Yeah, it's super awesome. I love that whole quest. But I know we'll talk more about Zelda next week. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we dive into the news?
I mean, knowing what we know now with Zelda becoming this eternal dragon,
yeah,
and losing herself and all that stuff, and being really sad. How do you think it's going to end? Do you think she's gonna become her true self again? I don't know if they'll do that, but she's got to be involved in like the final fight at some point. She always is. Do you think Ganondorf eats his
That would be
beard,
crazy.
and you have to fight a dragon, or
Maybe
you
you
know,
ride Zelda or something.
yeah, and yeah, ride Zelda and fight Ganondorf
I didn't think about
who's
him
also a
eating
dragon.
his own stone. That's yeah.
I mean, who knows if he knows about that? If he knows about like
Yeah.
that power potential from
He
eating
might. I
your
mean,
stone,
he
but
was there all that time ago.
yeah, I
Wow.
don't know, man. I'm excited for that final fight. I think it's gonna be a lot better
I hope
than
so.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, the Breath of well, it was not that great. I mean, it was like I don't know. It was I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't like
But
anything like
yeah, I think the second phase was pretty
mind blowing.
cool with
Yeah.
the whatever wild Ganon, whatever it was.
Like the Ganon, like the yeah, the full on Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely talk about some more about Zelda next week. As we continue on our, traveling around Hyrule and all that good stuff.
Your journey, yeah.
But yeah, let's dive into the news. So I'll quickly go over the other ones before we dive into the showcase stuff, and we'll talk about it pretty quickly. I'm sure a lot of other places have talked about this to death, but Witcher 3 crosses 50 million units sold, just The Witcher 3. And then the series as a whole has crossed 75 million, so that's pretty huge.
Rookie numbers.
Yeah, rookie numbers. That's huge.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it had sold that much.
I didn't either. I thought it was like maybe at 20, 25 million.
Yeah,
But damn, 50 million. It's really impressive.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for. I mean, I know that they've got a couple of games in development, so I don't know if I'll ever complete Witcher 3 at this point. I don't know if I will.
Oh yeah, I forgot you hadn't finished it yet.
So we'll see. I'm excited for the new season that comes out.
Yeah.
And they've apparently renewed it for up to 5 seasons, so I think that's a little bit gutsy considering Henry Cavill is not going to be there after season 3. But
yeah, that's a bold move.
yeah, maybe
I don't know how that's going to play out.
I don't know. And then from the recent patch, Nintendo removes the duplication glitch and Tears of the Kingdom, which I did not use this. I never got around to trying it. Normally we don't talk about patches and stuff like that, but it kind of sparked some stuff in the community because, again, referencing stuff like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, like half the community loved the glitch and half of the community were like, well, that's cheating. And it's like, is it really cheating in a single player game? Like, why are you guys so concerned about how people and again, that's the long age talk of Dark Souls and all that stuff. It's just people get so upset about how you play the game and don't focus on their own enjoyment. So I just briefly wanted to bring that up, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's a single player game, I think you should be able to play it how you want. But,
yeah, as long as you don't hurt anybody else and aren't cheating in a multiplayer game, like who cares? Who cares how you play? It's fine. But let's kind of dive into the PlayStation showcase. Nate, did you watch the whole thing?
I skimmed it.
Okay. That's probably the way to go.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There was really nothing there. Nothing of note, especially first party wise. I think Spider-Man was the only thing.
What was your expectations going into this? Because I was on kind of the hype train, as it felt kind of the hype level of like a Nintendo Direct, and those are always overhyped and all that stuff, and everybody always gets disappointed. But I don't know, coming off all the Xbox negativity and stuff like that, I thought Sony was going to just blow it out of the water with all their announcements and say, hey, we are solidifying this generation as PlayStation. PlayStation is, compared to Xbox, PlayStation is the top dog out of these two consoles. This is where you should be playing on. And as somebody who doesn't own a PlayStation, and I don't really feel the need to own one right now, and especially coming after this, I think they dropped the ball incredibly hard on this showcase.
I think they really missed the mark. Like it might as well have been a third party showcase, just a normal state of play.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a showcase in 2 years, and they called it a showcase.
And this is what they show off.
Then we got really a state of play. We got like a prolonged state of play.
like there was really nothing of note that I was excited for out of
Yeah.
this. Just a bunch of stuff that's probably really far off.
Yeah, I mean, like as a obviously as you and I who play on everything, it's not a huge deal. But as like a person who only owns a PlayStation, I would be incredibly nervous about the way Sony and PlayStation are kind of moving forward in their game plan with PlayStation, because a lot of this stuff was the live service type of stuff, and you know there's probably 4 or 5 games that got announced that I'm like, we're gonna be seeing a closure of this game in a year or so in the studio, specifically like, oh, like, dude, like the Jade Raymond studio, oh gosh, it's like something games, but it's got like the $ in the name. I'm like, that's like a punch, like to punch the gamer directly in the face type of disrespect.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff like that in there as well.
I can't remember the name of the studio. Hold on, I think it's not Flashpoint. J. Raymond Studio. It's Haven Studios, and it's Fair Games is what the game is called.
Fair Games.
Fair Games, and it ends with a money. Yeah, it just. I don't know. I feel like we're getting back into this era with Sony and PlayStation back when like the PS3 came out, and like it was $600 and just
the hubris era.
Very, very cocky. And I get it, PlayStation, like they've got some fantastic games, and they've made their mark in the industry with these single player games that are fantastic. Mm-hmm. And I understand that, maybe there's concern with like, how we've got to keep spending, $100 million, $200 million on these single player games, and how much money are they bringing in versus, something like a live service game or a multiplayer only game where they could, they're probably not super expensive to make, but I mean, obviously they're expensive to keep active, paying for the servers, but they can bring in a lot of revenue. And I think that's what they're trying to go with some of these games, but I don't know, you look like something like Foam Stars, like the
Splatoon
knockoff. Absolute Splatoon knockoff.
It's hard to look at.
Yeah, it's I
don't know what it is about it, but it's just kind of
it's kind of weird.
Off-putting.
Yeah, very, very off-putting. So again, that's one of those studios that I mentioned, like one of those games
that's Square, I think.
It is Square, but again, a year or so after that game comes out, like I just expect a closure of the game, but.
Right, you can already see the writing on the wall. You can see the you can see the post or the whatever it is, like the letter to fans.
Exactly.
Such a success, but we've made the unfortunate decision to close down the servers this May, whatever.
Yeah, and I think just after this showcase, I think Xbox heads Phil Spencer and alike just kind of collectively sighed together, like a sigh of relief, because Sony could have again blew everybody out of the water, had all these incredible games announced, and
really hyped up the rest of the generation.
Again, hyped up the rest of the generation, and right now, I mean, we don't have anything from Xbox, but the things that they have in the pipeline, Fable, Starfield, all these games, Avowed, which we haven't seen, Hellblade. But Hellblade, like those games look like they're going to be better than what PlayStation currently has to offer.
Right.
We have Spider-Man and we have Wolverine, right? And then
those are both Insomniac.
Yeah. So
or Insomniac.
Insomniac, yeah. So I don't know. I think Xbox they got a good deal to that, and the fact that they have that tweet ready to go with all the games, are like, hey, also all these games are on Xbox as well. It's like nothing was first party from Sony, and that was the biggest shocker, I think.
Yeah, that was super weird. Well,
let's switch over one more time, and then we'll wrap everything up.
Okay.
All right. So was there anything from the showcase? I mean, Spider-Man looked cool. I'm excited to see where that story goes. But like other than Spider-Man, was there anything that you thought looked cool from the showcase?
Just stuff that's already been announced, like the Plucky Squire.
Yeah, yep,
Like that looks amazing. I'm really excited for that this
yeah, that
year.
looks cool.
I think there were a few other
Metal Gear
games.
looks really good. Well, granted, we didn't see any. And again, like I am so sick and tired of seeing CGI cutscenes. I'm done with it. I want to see gameplay. Like,
Yeah, if you just show just a pre-rendered cutscene, like okay, this game isn't coming out for another 3 years. Why'd
Yeah.
you even show it?
Yeah.
If you're not going to show gameplay at this point, like
it's gameplay or nothing.
there's really no point in showing off the game.
Yeah, but that was heavily like speculated and rumored for to come out. So cool that's got announced. But yeah, I know there's a couple of other things that we got to see that I'm looking forward to.
There's a new Cat Quest coming out. That looks pretty
Cat Quest, yeah.
Yeah. The first one was actually really good.
Yeah, I played the demo for the second one. It was pretty cool. It was like a cool like RPG, like pretty light RPG. Gosh, what else was there? I'm gonna pull up the list. Oh gosh, we got the PlayStation Q device. Nick, what are your thoughts on this thing?
What a trash device. Just a Wii U knockoff.
So yeah, this thing got rumored a couple months ago. And I was just why, and then they announced it here. And again, this is that hubris that you were just talking about. Like, what is the point of this thing at all? Like, it has to be on your own Wi-Fi. It has to be connected to the PS5. You can't take it on the go. It's not a Switch.
Right. You have to play games that are downloaded on your PS5. So it's just a streaming device, but you can't take it outside of your house.
Yeah, this is like, hey, I want to play PS5 in bed. I guess is like
that's like the only place you would use it.
Yeah, this thing, I just do not see who is gonna. And again, coming off like the PSVR 2, like not hitting sales numbers. Like, what are they doing? I just, and this thing is gonna cost $300.
Yeah,
I bet you
around that.
It's gonna be about $300. I get like $250, I think. So it's an 8-inch HD screen. It's got all the same features as. I mean, it's literally a DualSense cut in half and added an 8-inch screen in between it. Yeah, it's a very odd device. I don't see who this is marketed to, other than like, I don't know, just the hardcorest of
hardcore
Sony fans. Yeah, I'm not sure what the point of this thing is, but and then they announced like the earbuds, which they look pretty cool.
Yeah, earbuds are cool. So weird. I totally forgot about that announcement.
Yeah, and again, if it was like $100, like a little bit more expensive than a DualSense, sure, like that could be interesting. Or maybe like they made a Wii U. Like the Wii U was not a good idea back in 2015. Why is this?
Well, they made a bad version of a Wii U.
Yeah, because this doesn't even do like the dual, unless we don't know anything about it because they didn't give us much details about it. So maybe developers will use it as like a second screen, but I just don't think that they will. I don't think most of them really use the DualSense that much. So I don't know. It's just an odd device. Going back to the games, and then we'll wrap up. We got another look at Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I don't know if I'm going to play, but it's cool to see like a throwback to the first one. So it's like, it's not necessarily like an open world game anymore. It's just like a kind of a city that you get to go into, and they emphasize stealth more. So that's cool. That's going back to its roots.
That'd be awesome.
Alan Wake 2 looks awesome.
Yeah, that game. Really excited for that one.
Comes out October 17th.
Okay.
So Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out October 12th, and then that one is a week later.
We have Marathon.
Yeah, it's like an extraction shooter, I think.
Yeah, but that's not what it was when it originally came out, right?
No, it was not an extraction shooter. It was something completely different.
Okay.
We got to look at Dragon Dogmas 2, which looks pretty cool. Last trailer, I guess, for Final Fantasy 16, which... Are you going to pick up that game, Nick? Or are you going to like wait for reviews and see what happens?
For reviews.
It looks cool.
Yeah, no, it does look good. It's just it's going to be a big game.
Yeah. Well, I heard it's not open world. It's more of like a open zone-ish kind of game, I think. So maybe it's not as big as...
Is more enticing to me right now.
Yeah. Look at Street Fighter 6, Talos Principle 2, Foam Stars. Looks so weird. Phantom Blade Zero looks kind of interesting.
I'm sorry, that game's never going to come out.
You don't think so?
No, it's from a
Mobile.
questionable developer.
Yeah, and it's like they make mobile games because like Phantom Blade is, I think it's already a series on the mobile, like on the phones and stuff. So I mean, it looked too good. The gameplay, if that was gameplay, it looked too good.
Apparently, it started development in 2022.
Oh, what the heck? There's no way.
I think what we saw was just like a
CGI
vertical slice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't think you see that ever.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4 Remake VR looks actually really cool. We got the knife really and gun in both hands. That could be awesome.
Yeah, that is like the one thing that would make me want to get PSVR 2.
Yeah. Let's see. Kind of indie stuff.
I guess we haven't really talked about Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. What was your I think it sucked that they waited to have Spider-Man at the very end because they knew that it would have to like carry the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what else
I don't know.
closed with? Yeah,
I don't know. It looks like Spider-Man. I'm not super hyped on this game.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like another action-packed chase sequence. Like that's like the big.
Yeah.
Is that always like PlayStation's like gameplay segments that they just show like a giant chase scene?
Because it reminded me of Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Of like that big chase scene
that ended like on the train and stuff.
Yeah. I was like, this is the same thing.
Yeah, not to knock it necessarily, but yeah, I feel like that's their gameplay demos are always chase scenes. So
it's always a big like set piece action sequence.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it looks good.
It does.
Like, don't get me wrong, like it looks fun.
And the seamless like transition between Miles and Peter looks incredible.
Yeah, and then seeing Peter kind of like turn to the dark side a little bit.
Yeah, he's got the symbiote, the venom in him. So yeah, at some point, Miles is going to have to probably fight Peter and bring him back and save him, which is interesting, which is cool. Like that'd probably be a really awesome fight.
Yeah, I wonder if like that'd be cool if like you switch off seamlessly between both of them fighting each other.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
So that's gonna be a really cool dynamic in Spider-Man 2 is like the dynamic between Miles and Peter.
And I say I'm not hyped for it. I am. I really do want to see where that story goes because I love the first one. But just from what I saw, and then you add on to the fact that the showcase before that was just incredibly mid, that it kind of brought the game kind of like when they showed off Tears of the Kingdom like last year at the end of that Farmville direct, and then they showed Tears of the Kingdom, and we got like a couple minutes. Like I'm really excited for it, but it kind of brought I wish they would have just put the trailer out separately,
right?
Because it kind of bogged it down a little bit for me, and I felt like the same way with this. So
it's crazy how that can happen.
Yeah,
like a bad presentation can ruin a great trailer.
Exactly. If they would have just put that on the side, that would have been great. But it looks great. I do want to play it at some point. I don't know if it's gonna entice me to pick up a PS5 in order to play it.
This is PS5 only.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. At least I'm pretty sure it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a PS4 could do that seamless transition like that, but
I don't think so.
And then of course after the announcement, I don't know if it was just like the PlayStation fanboys just taking an L for the first time in a while, that they were saying that, oh, PlayStation's holding back games and we'll get more stuff late. Like, no, why would they hold back games? They're in the prime position to give us games and to just kind of, I don't know, defeat Xbox this generation for sure. Like, yeah, that narrative
that's kind of deranged. That's kind of
it's delusional. It's just
delusional.
It's just Twitter delusion.
People were saying like. Here's the thing, like, oh, there's a rumored like there's another showcase coming later on this year.
I mean, probably.
I mean, I don't know, like
because they got to show off. They got to show off what the Q Lite is and tell us what that is. Yeah, that's just utter delusion. Like, it's okay. They had a bad showcase.
I mean,
It's,
hey, Nintendo had a bad showcase
yeah, last year.
last year. Yeah, Xbox has had many a bad showcase, and
Yeah,
everyone can admit it. Like,
I
it's okay. It's
I
okay to
really
have a
hope
bad showcase.
I really hope the Xbox One. I want a good showcase. Like, I want to see what Xbox has, but I
Mhm.
really, not to pick sides, but like, you kind of want to go for the underdog a little bit, and I just want to see them have
Get a
like
win,
get a
get a
win,
single
and
win.
then just shut people up that are just so obnoxious on Twitter.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then
I'm sure no matter what they show, they'll
yeah.
get
Well,
chewed out by somebody.
even people are nitpicking the Spider-Man trailer on the graphical fidelity and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
that's dumb
y'all
too.
don't understand how video game development works. That trailer, that video that they showed off, that's an old model of the game. It's an earlier build that's not completely polished. We still don't have a release date, so this game could get pushed. We don't know. So you just
Yeah, and
understand how like gaming works and how it's made before you have to like nitpick something. It's not
right.
it's not judge it when you have it. Don't judge it prior.
Yeah, and all the people comparing the screenshot to Spider-Man 1.
All the
Like, of
same
course
like
they're
building and
reusing
stuff.
asset. Like, of course
Yeah.
it's New York.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
What do you think? Someone rebuilt New York? Like, why would you not use the same
You're
city?
just gonna make it look
Just like with
prettier.
Hyrule.
Yeah,
Like,
dumb. Just
and God of War. Like,
yeah,
yeah, you're gonna reuse assets wherever possible because you're trying to save on development time.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then the final part of the showcase story was obviously factions was nowhere to be seen, and that was almost guaranteed by a lot of
Yeah.
people from the Last of Us factions multiplayer thing. Naughty Dog came out a day or so later and kind of posted that it's been delayed. And then Jason Schreier, he's from Bloomberg, right?
Yeah, he's Bloomberg.
He said he came out and said that the factions team is a lot of them are moving on to other projects and the game itself is being reevaluated. He mentioned that people from Bungie that make Destiny came in there to kind of give some guidance and said that as a live service game, it's not enticing enough to keep keep players there long term. So it doesn't look good. I don't know if this thing's going to come out at this point.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks because like this was supposed to come out with Last of Us 2, right?
Yeah,
Back in 2020. Like,
which it expanded because I mean Last of Us 1 had multiplayer and it was decent, and I think that's what they were going to do for 2, but then it expanded out to more of the live service thing. And to be honest, like as a live service game, this might have been the one for me. It could have been a really cool thing.
Yeah,
but now that we've
like
gotten
it's
these reports, it's just not coming together as it should be.
yeah, and like at least they're reevaluating rather than sending it out to die. Like, you got to respect that a little bit.
Well, Last of Us is like the top tier PlayStation franchise. So for them to put something out that's not quality, I think it will just be a really bad look to PlayStation and Naughty Dog. So, I mean, if you got to can it, and just say it's canceled. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good look if they're pulling people off of the team.
Yeah, it's all speculation. We don't actually know, but that's what it seems like. But
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we've got so much. We got all the Summer Games Fest starting here in a couple of weeks. We got Xbox's showcase, Ubisoft's showcase.
I know that's coming up. Not this week, but next week, right?
Next week, yeah. So we got a lot to look forward to. When is the Xbox stream? Do we know what time? I know they've announced the time for it.
It's on a Sunday, right?
Is it? Is it on a
I think it's June 11th.
Let's see. June 11th, yeah, June 11th. What time is it? Xbox Showcase.
It's at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay,
Yeah.
that's on a Sunday. So yeah, we'll definitely
I stream that.
yeah, we'll definitely live react to that. So, and then there's a Starfield Direct that day
right
too.
after that, right?
Yeah, right after.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that'd be. I mean,
see
first,
that
like,
that's
real look.
and I'm not calling one company better, but I think that's a really smart way to do that. Like you have like your big focused game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if Sony was to do that with Spider-Man, say, hey, we got a Spider-Man showcase right after this. Here's 15 minutes of that game, and then we'll have the regular.
Here's our state of play.
And here's our state of play, showing off these games. I think that would have like helped out with the narrative of the showcase, but
Definitely.
it is what it is. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, even like
It was bad. Yeah.
big PlayStation lovers like Greg Miller. I listened to his podcast and he gave it like a 2 out of 5. So, he's like one of the biggest fanboys out there. So, and I love Greg Miller. I think he does a great job over it. Kind of funny, but yeah, for him to come out there and say it's a 2,
then it's bad.
It's not a great showcase. But
yeah, and yeah, I didn't really hear anyone like defending it.
no,
saying
yeah,
it was good in any way.
Not much you can defend. You can't really pull anything out of it.
No.
But
I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just like that Nintendo Direct with all the farm stuff. Like, you just gotta take the L
and move on. All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to wrap up the show. We definitely appreciate everyone listening and watching and all that good stuff. So again, next week we'll be talking more Zelda for sure, and whatever other news happens. Nick, any final thoughts on the week?
No. Hopefully, I'll be back in better form next week.
Yeah, get some rest, and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.